Okay, been working on the weld up. So the first thing I did was weld down in the inside the quarter well, which was pleasant, for this seam down here. They're not great, and if you can't see them, I'm okay with that. What they lack in beauty, they make up for in mass. Then I went around and did, starting in the center in the back, welded up the deck filler and did the spot welds in the channel, in the gutter. Then I went ahead and did the spot welds on the lip. Then the plug welds down through this area on both sides. I haven't cleaned anything up yet. I'm just kind of waiting to have a cleanup day. Then I went and did a round on the top of the quarter panels back towards the B pillar. Then after that, I welded the B pillars. Again, I haven't cleaned anything yet, but I plug welded this. I probably could have spot welded that, but I plug welded it anyway. So now I've come back into the trunk area again, and I'm trying to just work my way methodically. I did every other spacing through here with a spot welder to attach the gutter to the quarters. And then I've left every other spacing where I'm going to drill a plug weld hole to get down into the inner bracing into here when I put that back in, because that inner bracing is quite thick and my little spot welder is not going to like that. So the idea is that next I am going to get in here and work on that inner edge between the tail panel and the quarter panel, and I will spot weld that. And to do that, I had to change the electrodes on the spot welder. So I went from this set here to a low profile set. I've got a few of these tongs. These tongs are ridiculously expensive. So far, the only ones I've used are the stock ones and this low profile set, and I haven't even started using those yet. And this tip here is different. It actually has a little socket head cap screw holding it together. That one is mostly so that you can get the really super low profile. They didn't have enough room to put the threaded electrode in it, so I bought some spares of those too. So basically, I think what I'm going to do now is everything is welded and held together really nice and clamped nicely. I am actually going to get in there better. I think I'm going to roll the car up like about 45 degrees so I can dangle the spot welder right in the hole here, and then spot weld up these flanges, then rotate it the other way and do the other side. That's my plan anyway. And then after that, I think I'm going to start spot welding the wheel tubs to the quarter panels through here. I think I'm pretty well set up to do that too. So, and I might rotate the body up to do those. Just rotate it up quite a bit probably. And then we'll see how that goes. So anyway, that's the weld up process for the rear clip. And after I get that done, before I weld the wheel tubs to the frame or anything, I'm probably going to come back here, maybe even before the wheel tubs, and put the inner braces in the back in for the shaker vibration dampener brackets and all of that, and get those relocated, plug welded in, so that everything back here is just done and I can move up. Then I'll come back, plug weld all the tail panel stuff, spot weld the bottom flanges, plug weld the mid flange, and yeah, there's a lot to do. So we'll just keep doing. That's about it for right now. I get more, I'll bring you back. Okay, the weld up continues. I welded in the, not sure we'll be able to see real well, but I'll try. Hang on, there we go. Yeah, gotta fit. So, welded up these seams down through here, got them all spot welded in. That all came out good. Now I'm starting to fit in these rear braces here, and they hold the top of the cocktail shaker. So, let's see if I can get a better shot of that. I also wanted to make sure that these are referenced properly. So I went over to the storage unit and grabbed the cocktail shakers, and I'm gonna mount those up in there just to make sure that the spacing is right and I don't hurt myself by attaching the bottom of that leg to a point where the shaker won't bolt in. So that's my plan. I've got to trim up this a little bit. There's a little bit of extra material sticking out right here. I'll just carve that back a bit and I should be good to go. And then I'll rinse and repeat on the other side. So that's where I'm at right now. Okay, this took a while. So getting that cocktail shaker in there, the vibration dampener, of course, you know, these things have been kicked around for a while, so the ears were kind of bent. So when I straightened everything out best I could and got it in there, I'm glad I did it. Make sure you do this, because that bracket here was nowhere near where I thought it was going to be. Nowhere near where it was in the previous car, but it had been detached. So I feel like I'm in a pretty good place right now. I can go ahead and get this bracket welded in, this whole support structure under here. Let's see if I can get a better shot of that. And then plug weld up there. I feel like I'm in much better shape here. But now at least I know that cocktail shaker will fit right there. I'm hoping I don't have too much pressure on any of the bolts, but at least I know I can get it in there. I'll put it in when it's, you know, I'll clean that up and sandblast it and epoxy it and do all the its to it, and then should be able to make that all work. I know this photo's kind of crazy, but there's the feeder on the bottom. It's just hard to get a good reference with this thing turned up like this. But I'm very close. So I feel like I'm in a good enough space right now where I go ahead and plug weld that in there, get it solidified, then take the cocktail shaker back out once I have everything welded in place. But yeah, so far so good. And the weld up continues. All right, so what I did was run around the inside of that wheel tub, spot welded that to the inner wheel housing to the quarter panel, then the trunk drop to the wheelhouse down through there, and then the trunk drop to the bottom of the quarter through here. All that spot welded very nicely. There's one spot down there I got to plug weld because I couldn't get it in. And then I worked the spot welder down this joint from the center to the edge, and that all welded up nicely. Once you get the hang of it, literally I had to put another pulley on that to slow that down, because one tap was moving it about 3 inches or about 2 inches. Now one tap moves it 1 inch, which works really nice for the vertical stuff because you don't have to mark it. You can just go down through there and just one tap, spot, one tap, spot, one tap, spot. So next I'm going to go, while I still have it up here, I'm going to clean up that edge between the quarter panel and the inner fender well. Well, first I got a little bit more MIG welding to do, like where it attaches to the rocker, and a couple of other little spots I just want to put a tack on, just to be extra sure everything is good. Then I'm going to go down through and clean off that edge right there between the edge of the quarter, which you see is bare metal, and the weld through primer. So I'm going to clean that all up so it's one uniform edge. Get that dressed, and then I'll hit it with some epoxy so that it stays nice until I can get back in here and sand everything out in these wheel wells. But I want to get that edge sealed up because that's dangerously close to outside body, and I don't want anything. I'll hit it with some paint prep, and then hit that with epoxy just to get it sealed up until I can get back to it for body work. So that's the idea. I'll bring you back after I get that sorted, and then I'll rinse and repeat. I'll flip the car and do the other side. Well, that wraps up the first part of the underside welding. So I got both quarter panels to wheel tubs, quarter panels to drops, wheel tub to drop, and then the tail panel to the inner tail panel, all the way up through there. So obviously still haven't tied anything to the floor yet, although that's coming. It looks like that's probably going to be next. So I'll get this flipped back down, get it leveled up again, start working on, I got a bunch of holes to fill, unfortunately, so that'll suck. But we'll get that started. I've got the tail panel to finish up, a few more plug welds to do in that, across the back and around the license plate hole. And then there's the inner bracket for the trunk latch and all of that I've got to put on yet. But I'll tell you, this little thing here performed amazingly well. I would buy that again for sure. Whoop. Yeah, the 220 version works really nicely with that close set jaw or tongs. That's worked out really nicely. It saves a ton of time. And with the winch setup, literally I'm just working my way down, tap the button, spot weld, tap the button, spot weld as it dropped. Trying to pay attention to the duty cycle a little bit, but I wasn't too nice to it, I don't think. But having said all that, it seems to be coming together. I've still got to pull in the bottoms of my my mini tubs, get those pulled into the floor pan once I get everything else buttoned up. But I think I'm pretty close to having everything at this point. I think I've done all the spot welding I need to do. Could be wrong. Been wrong before. We'll see. But anyway, I'm going to wrap this video up and I'll carry on with a part 2 of the weld up. And we'll see where we go from there.